Hi everyone, Shannon Smith from Smart Business Solutions based in Mornington. Just to give you a bit of an update about what the ATO are doing and what their focus point on medical practitioners is. So basically the ATO has released what we call a new PCG 2021. It's only in draft. It is going to be finalised in June. And it is effective 1st of July. So you need to get going and understand what this means and how this, what you need to do and how this is going to change. We need to, as part of these guidelines, and the draft guidance is really focused on the allocation of profits in, it's in professional services firms, but in particular is medical practitioners that they're really focusing on. So what we need to look at is it guides on how to self-assess a risk rating for your medical practice, what needs to be done to make sure you end up in the green zone, and how to understand what the ATO is going to do as a transition. So throughout this guidance, they often refer to this IPP, and that is Individual Professional Practitioner. So it's set to apply from 1st of July 2021, and if certain gateway conditions are met, you can use this framework and work through a process to calculate yourself a score, which then determines the risk level that applies to you as a medical practitioner. Now, there are three risk assessment factors. One, that what is the proportionment of profit entitlement from the whole practice that's returned to the IPP, so the individual professional practitioner. So how much of the profit of your practice, whether you be a surgeon, medical practice, etc., ends up in your hands versus what goes into your service trust and down to other beneficiaries. Let's just say you have more than 90%, you get a score 1. If you have less than 25%, you get a score of 6. Number 2, risk assessment number 2, the factor is total effective tax rate for the income received by the practice, by the IPP and associated entities. So what's your effective tax rate? Again, we have a score of 1 to 6 based on your effective tax rate. Number 3, what's the remuneration returned to the hands of the IPP as a percentage of the commercial benchmark for the services provided to the firm? Now, with those percentages, again, you've got a score of 1 to 6. On those scores, we actually, and this comes down to the structuring that we've worked with a lot of you on what you actually pay to your service trust and how that is actually put together and structured. Now, from those ratings, you actually come up with an overall score. And with the overall score, it basically puts you into either the green zone, which is a low risk, the amber zone, which is a moderate risk, or the red zone, which is a high risk. Now, the ATO has signalled its clear intention to get into the arrangements and business structures commonly used by medical practitioners. One could say they kind of had enough. Now, I might sympathise with them a little bit, only because I want to say 9 out of 10 medical practitioners that move across to Smart Business Solutions, we end up having to restructure them. They are not structured correctly in accordance with the PSI rules that apply for medical practitioners and how you should structure with your trust. Those of you that are watching this that are already clients, you will be structured properly. We'll have to go through the PCG. The ATO is specifically concerned with these practices operating through trusts, companies and partnerships. They're not so upset about the actual structures. They're just upset about how it's being applied and if they're being correctly done. So as I said, if you're a client of ours, we would have already made sure that your structure is in place and correct. But we do need to go through the PCG analysis to see how then you sit. We anticipate that our clients should be all sitting in the green, but we'll have to go through that. That is something that's going to need to be done, updated every year in the PCG analysis. We intend to do that as part of our tax planning and then our end of year. Because the PCG is new now, I definitely want to do this with my clients before June 30. This is going to be a big issue. We don't want to find out after the fact if there are any concerns. Now, we have, as accountants, been waiting for this guidance for a long time. Actually, since 2014, guidance was suspended in 2017. So it is kind of great news for us that we now have some clear guidance from the ATO. Otherwise, you're kind of going blind when you'd have a review. Now that we have it, time to act. What I am going to do, Friday, 9th of April, we're going to run a webinar, only very brief. I know your time's valuable. I'm going to cut to the chase, go through a few key points, and I'll be there at the end to answer some questions if you have some specific questions. But feel free to share the webinar with any of your other medical colleagues, and make sure they're on top of this. If their accountant hasn't already contacted them, tell them to get in touch. Happy to do a second opinion, but they need to understand this. This could be a huge issue, especially when it relates to trust, because all of your trust distribution minutes must be done before June 30. We need to do it before you do your June BASs as well. If there's any corrections that needs to happen, and I'm sure some of you on this quick video who were new clients to us, we've had to redo BASs for a certain number of months to get things fixed up and get things changed. So we really need to act soon if you're going to be looking at any of this, just to make sure that we get it all in place. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us or join us for the webinar on Friday, 9th of April. Thanks a lot. Bye.